Hello, BookTube, and I'm here with a tag. I've been tagged by the dastardly Mark at Book Time with Elvis. The original tag was done by Genius Stan Yearbooks, and it's called the Traveling with Books tag. There are essentially 6 questions with tags some travelers. I will do the 6 anyway here. I do apologize. I'm allergy, so I'm talking really stuff. I know. Yeah. So I do apologize for that. If I sound a bit, my voice is nasally. There's a reason for that. Anyway, let's get to the text. Do you read when you travel? Well, I haven't traveled much lately, and there's probably going to be very little, if no travel, in my near future anyway. My traveling now consists of going down to the kitchen. And yes, I do take a book with me all the time, or most of the time. Unless I'm just going down to pick something up and bring it back up here. And yeah, I used to, when I did travel, I did take some books. Depends on where I was going and things like that. And I think that's where the next questions come into here. So yes, I do. Number 2, do you travel with paperback books? Well, when I traveled around, most of the time it would be paperback books, just because you can get more bang for your buck for putting them in your bags. And the biggest traveling that I did was to Jordan, the Middle East, and Egypt. Back in the early 90s, and I really only had 3 books with me. I had Herodotus, the histories, I had Clifford Simak's City, and I had Erskine Caldwell's Georgia Boy, because I had a bag that was kind of neat. It was an army sort of pouch or bag that it was, I guess, well, it's just strong material, and it had a flap that you opened it up, and it had two sort of, well, it had a separation for 2 slots sort of down, so you could put other stuff in, like you could carry a few things with you, and then on the inside of it there were 2 sort of slots that go down, and they were perfect. Herodotus fit in one, and then the other 2 books fit in the other, because they were roughly about the same thickness. So it was perfect, but that was sort of the maximum I decided to take. So I'd reread them there several times. And do you travel with an e-reader? Well, there were no such things then, and I only recently have acquired an e-reader. But if you want to talk about traveling down to the kitchen, yeah, occasionally I will take. Well, I usually take my tablet down, and I might read something on that. How many books do you pack when you travel? Well, yeah, that's if I'm going downstairs, it's 1, unless I'm finishing up one and I'm going to start another, so possibly 2. Anywhere else, like because I've never been a huge traveler. Like, I've traveled around, but I don't think I've been that huge of a traveler. I've traveled around here in the UK earlier, and yeah, I always took a book or 2 with me, but not too many. Not too many at all, because I was never gone for very long. And does where you go or how long you are traveling for impact the amount / type of books you take? Well, yeah. Like I say, I went to the Middle East. I would have liked to have taken more books, but I just, just space-wise, convenience, when you're traveling around. And here in the UK, yeah, it's like, I remember going to 2 weeks to Stratford on Avon, and I think I took 3 or 4 books. I might have, yeah. And when I went up to York for a week one time, I think I took 2 books with me. But I wound up not reading any of them, because the next question you know, impacts on that. Number 6, do you buy books when traveling or visit bookshops and libraries? Well, I do travel. Sorry, I do visit libraries occasionally, but not so much to look at the books. It was at the time I would, especially here in the UK, I would use their internet. That's the reason that I would go to the libraries. But yes, I do go to bookshops. And when I was in York that week, I went to every bookshop that I could find, and I know I didn't even, scratch the surface. But we're talking 10 or 12 years ago that I went, where there were a lot more bookshelves, book stores, shops. And every time I go to Oxford or Cambridge, I'm always going to a bookshop. And usually I'll take a book along with me to read on the bus there back. So, yeah. But in York that time, as I say, I took a couple books with me. And I can't remember what they were, but I wound up jettisoning them because I found a book about Orwell at the time. And I read that instead. But yeah, so that's the traveling with books tag. And yeah, thanks for tagging me, Mark. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm not going to tag anybody because everybody else, well, I think a lot of people have been tagged, and I'm sure a lot will do this. But anyway, I will see you next time, BookTube.